Shalom, shalom, Israel's brother Zama. Y'all look.
Brother Aharon, Brother Shemawal.
Coming back at you with a very quick cold cut, going into separating from our enemies, especially in these last days, man. We gotta separate from our enemies. Why are you still with the so-called white man? Why are you still hanging out with that East Indian girl from your damn third grade class? You grew up with the... We have to separate from our enemies, man. Because if you keep in the law, you're gonna contend with the wicked. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 20 and verse 4. They that forsake the law praise the wicked, but such as keep the law contend with them. So only one thing is going to happen if you're with your enemies, man. They're in the world, they're indulging into the ways of this life, but you're trying to keep the laws of the Most High. Either they're going to have an influence over you, or you're going to have an influence over them. You're going to start to contend. They want to eat pork, you don't want to eat pork. They want to go out a Saturday shopping spree, but you want to praise the Most High, man. It's always going to be contention. So if you keep the laws of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, there's no reason that you should be around your enemies in the first place. Let me go to 1 John chapter 4. Actually, go to James chapter 4 verse 4. Right? Let's go to the book of James, chapter 4, and verse number 4. You adulterers and adulteresses, know ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity with God? Whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world is the enemy of God. So if you're going to serve the Most High, you either all the way on his side, or guess what, you're going to be in the world, man. The Lord drew a big line. He said either you for us, or guess what, or you're going to be for them, man. There's no two ways about it. There is no I'm hanging out with them and then guess what, then I'm going to serve the Most High, man. The Lord's not dealing with that. You have to choose Yahweh Shem Yahushua, or you're going to be an enemy of the Most High. Brother.
Yeah, like the brother said, hey, it's either you're going to choose the Most High, or you're going to choose these worldly people, right? Choose your friends, choose everything that was in the world, right? A lot of us go back into the world, not in our actions, but sometimes in our mind first, right? Let's get this in Proverbs. Chapter 13 and verse number 20. All right, this is the book of Proverbs, chapter 13 and verse number 20. And it reads, right? The poor, that's not 20. Yeah, so right, Proverbs chapter 30 verse 20. 13 verse 20. He that walketh with wise men shall be wise, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed, right? If you're a companion of this world, right? If you're a companion of fools, the Lord said you're going to be destroyed. He that is wise is going to walk with wise, right? You're going to separate yourself from your enemies if you're wise, right? These are the same people that you got to separate from. And the Lord already warned us from that. Let's go to 2 Corinthians, chapter 5, and verse number 10, right? 2 Corinthians, chapter 5, that's 1 Corinthians. 1 Corinthians, chapter 5, and verse number 10. Yet not altogether with the fornicators of this world. I'm going to start at verse 9. I wrote unto you in an epistle not to company with fornicators, yet not altogether with the fornicators of this world, or with the covetous, or extortioners, or with idolaters. For then must he needs go out of the world, but now I have written unto you not to keep company if any man that is called a brother be a fornicator, or covetous, or an idolater, or a railer, or a drunkard, or an extortioner. With such a one, know not to eat, right? You got to be able to judge these matters. Whether or not you have to separate from the world, or you have to draw nigh to the Most High God. You have to have that spiritual discernment, right, brothers? Guys?
Somebody up here.
Got Revelation chapter 18 and verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive out of her plagues. Right? So the Lord, he commanded us to come out of Babylon, come out of this wicked system, right? Do not follow the trends, right? All the wickedness that everybody doing in this world, don't be partakers of that, right? Renewing for her sins have reached unto heaven, and God have remembered her iniquities. The Lord sees what's going on, right? He sees everything that's going on in this wicked world. You don't want to be found or caught in anything that's contrary against the Lord.
All right, shalom, shalom. So like the brothers is bringing out, you want to make sure you separating from anything that's distracting you, that's pulling you back, causing you to not grow and move forward. All of that is imperative. Ultimately, separating from your enemy, and you yourself could be the chief enemy. Let's go to the book of Tobit. right? Go to the book of Tobit, chapter 12. All right, let's go to the book of Tobit, chapter 12, and I want verse number 10. It says, "But they that sin are enemies to their own life." So if you sinning against the Lord, you are own enemy to yourself, man. Yes, you have the enemies, which are the other nations, the heathens, but you could be your chief arch enemy. Why? Because you sinning against the Lord, man. And the Lord, he has enemies. The Lord doesn't hang around his enemies. So if you're on the other opposition, you're on the other side, guess what? If you're on Satan's side, you're an enemy in the eyes of the Lord. And you have to separate and get all of those strongholds from off you so you could be properly walking together on one accord with Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. All right, let me give one more precept. All right, let's go to the book of 2 Corinthians. Right, this 2 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse number 14. "Be not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship have righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion have light with darkness?" So you don't want to be unequally yoked to things that doesn't match up with your own personal spirit. With that, brothers got it.
Mighty points, right? But with that, you gotta separate yourself from your enemies. I got one quick precept, right? This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 6 and verse number 7. "If thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first, and be not hasty to credit him. For some man is a friend to his own occasion, and will not abide in the day of trouble," right? Because you think all these, these people will be your friends. No, hell no, man. These people are only looking for themselves and only looking for vanity at the end of the day. Like, you will see a lot of Jake, he said, what, I'm going to get it on my own and do all these things. No, man. You have to do this as a whole, as a collective, as one body of under serving Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, right? But you want to go all the way down. I'm going to drop down to verse 12. It says, "If thou be brought low, he will be against thee and will hide himself from thy face." And this is the key right here. "Separate thyself from thy enemies and take heed of thy friends." And who are your friends? Those are the keeping laws, statutes, commandments. Those are the ones that are abiding, basically what we need to be abiding in, like our forefathers. Like how it always says, look into the days of old, or, remember the old or the former days. That's what we want to be meditating on and always abiding in, right? So brothers got it?
Shalom, Israel. It's about separation, right? You got to separate from the wicked in these last days out here. I want to bring out Jeremiah 5 and 26, and it reads, "For among people are found wicked men. They lay wait as he seals snares, and they set trap. They catch man as a cage is full of birds, so are their houses full of deceit." Okay, with that being said, you want to separate from the wicked. You want to be walking with the righteous who keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments at all times. You want to be walking with the man that set snares and set traps for their brothers. You want to be walking with the righteous. So it's time to separate in these last days. All praise to the Most High.
Shalom, brother Shema with all, man. Right, like the brother was bringing out, right? You got to separate from your enemies, man. The Lord created righteous, and the Lord created the wicked. The Lord created good, the Lord created evil. The Lord created blessing and cursing. You got to choose one. You can't be with unbelievers when you are a believer, right? Let's get Jeremiah chapter 9, verse 25. "Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will punish all them which are circumcised with the uncircumcised." Hey, the Lord said he's going to punish those that are circumcised that's with the uncircumcised. So why are you dealing with unbelievers? Why are you dealing with people that don't want to keep the commandments? Why are you dealing with people that doesn't want to serve Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, that wants to serve the gods of this world, right? All the idolatry, right? All the wickedness, right? Written on, it says Egypt and Judah and Edom and the children of Ammon and Moab and all that are in the utmost corners that dwell in the wilderness. For all these nations are uncircumcised, and all the house of Israel are uncircumcised in the heart. Hey, the Lord said all punishment is coming towards these circumcised people, which are the chosen people of God that want to dwell in sin,
dealing with these other nations and people that don't want to keep the commandments, right? Quick precept, Matthew chapter 25, verse 32, right? Matthew chapter 25, verse 32. It says, and before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goats. So, when the Lord comes back out of the third heavens, when he cracked the sky, the Lord is going to separate the sheep from the goats. Are you a goat or are you a sheep? I'd rather be a lost sheep of the house of Israel. I'd rather be a sheep of the Most High God, man. Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. I don't want to be a goat. Everybody wants to be a goat in this world. Everybody wants to be the greatest of all time. The greatest of all time is Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. So you dwelling with the uncircumcised, you will get punished.
Mighty words by the Akim, right? Let's get this 2 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse number 14. It says, be not unequally yoked together with unbelievers, for what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness, and what communion hath light with darkness. What fellowship do these things have together, right? You got evil amongst ourselves, you got evil in your mind, right? You regard iniquity all day, every day, right? You're your own worst enemy. It's not just like the brother said, the other nations around us. You got different types of enemies, right? Whether it be these spirits, whether it be your flesh, right? Whether it be these enemies of the other nations, right? The devices that they set out for us. The Lord said, don't be a companion. Don't be with consent with the world. Just jump down to verse 17. It says, wherefore come out from among them and be ye separate, said the Lord, right? And touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you, and will be a father unto you, and ye shall be my sons and daughters, said the Lord Almighty, right? That's all the Most High wants us to do. Humble ourselves, seek his face, and separate from this world. Be holy. Like the Lord said in Leviticus 19, right? So with that, we're going to give all honor and glory to the Most High Yahweh, right? Ba'ashem Yahushai, and Lord willing, this video was edifying. Shalom.